Start with point number 1. Okay, so we got a miss in the net. Okay, you can kind of see, can you see how early Dillon is pulling around his body? That right leg starting to kick out. We'd like him to stay in a better power line, okay? So that's going to help him stay taller, not swing around. Second serve. Okay, so let's go through a few different things. What should have happened right at this point? Okay, Sam needs to come to net right here, okay? So that's the big takeaway is, yeah, he might have still gotten in trouble, but more often than not, Dillon's going to leave a short ball if he gets that ball back. We need to be understanding when we see our opponent literally running backwards, we need to go take the net, all right? So let's kind of go through. I mean, some good things, like that Dillon's playing aggressive, one of the strengths of his game. We're just going to look at his technique on the approach. What can we pick up from his underspin? He's pulling down and across, so he doesn't penetrate. Sam's got plenty of time to hit the ball. Sam makes him make a volley, which is great. Okay, and then Dillon takes just enough time away from Sam, and Sam kind of pulls up on this ball. Okay, he needs to hit through that ball more. If anything, he wants to keep hitting Dillon in the shoes. Okay? So anyways, a few things on that point. Next one. Okay, so we got away with a little bit of a shank there. Let's start at the very beginning. Let's look at Sam's split step. Okay, remember we said when Dillon hits the ball, where should Sam be? In the air. Okay. He's hitting the ball. He's just off. He does have a split step there. Okay. Let's look at his organization in the ready position. Okay, so if I'm ready position organization, elbows are close to the body. So that means when he goes to turn, the racket face is more likely to be open, and he's going to have external rotation of the shoulders. Okay, we're going to talk more about why that's important. But so the elbows need to be further out, fit the basketball in the ready position. So he needs to land. Ideally, he would go more on a diagonal and cut that off, but that's, he does get the ball deep through the middle, which we like. So here's the hit again, deep through the middle, great. Okay, let's look at Dillon's hit. Does he split? He's got a split. Lands about right there. He might be a smidge behind. Do you see that? You're a little late on your split because you're just going up right as he's hitting. Give you more time to adjust. Sorry, I'm going the wrong way. There we go. Okay, but it's a good deep ball down the middle. Okay, so now let's talk about Sam's recovery point here. Where should Sam be? Should be on the other side of the middle line. He should be on the right side at the baseline. Why? He's got to bisect the angle. He took the ball up the line. When you hit the ball up the line, the recovery point is slightly to the opposite side of the court, right? So we call it bisecting the angle. So that would have actually, had Sam should have been about right here in the green area. He would have gotten to this ball much easier even. And then from there, he maybe hits an even better ball. Okay, so let's go back then again. So right as Dillon's hitting, Sam should be split stepping. Instead, Sam's trying to recover to the middle. So it's so important you understand this. You do not recover to the middle unless what happens? You hit it to the middle. The only time I recover to the middle of the court is if I hit the ball myself through the middle of the court. But Belnap put the ball on Dillon's forehand on the deuce side. He should be right here starting his split step. Instead, do you see how he's still drifting to the middle and the ball's already well on its way across court? These are the things that are going to separate you guys to just starting to get to so many more balls if you understand the timing of the split step and you understand the court positioning. Okay, because that ends up, he maybe is able to hand that ball and go take it off the rise and doesn't let Dillon beat him with that high, okay, ball cross court. Okay. Next point. Let's see. Okay, we're just going to go. And Sam's doing a great job. Like, he's got great circular swings, but I just want you guys to look. There's no split step here, and this is not a Sam Belnap thing. This is every video I've watched. I think I catch Dillon later with no split stepping either. He's got it. Yep. I don't see much of a split step out of Dillon. You center it again, but you're not really ready to just pounce. Okay? And we just want to think, if Sam was better prepared with his feet, could he hit that ball deeper? Because that's a minus ball from Sam. And Dillon could react way sooner than that if he had a good split. And Dillon would be even tighter and hit it more aggressive. Okay? Like that you're coming forward, like that you're finishing up at the net. Okay, let's go into the serve. Oops. And you just want to think, everybody here is making the mistakes. The more you guys are willing to make the mistakes, or look at your mistakes, look at them, and just want to correct them, you're going to get through this so much faster. Okay, so we're going to look here. This kind of is, Sam, you want to think of that right elbow staying lower, more in line with your shoulder. It gets up too early. So you go down together, up together. Now, fortunately, you have some bend, but you could look at the knees, right? What could he do more of? Rotate. There's not a lot of lower body rotation. We just talked about the elbow being on the other side of the body, right? His elbow stays on the right side of his body. It doesn't coil enough to see his right elbow on the other side of his body. He's getting his racket to be much more hooded. So I think from the last time we saw you, where are you, Sam? Last time we saw you, got more palm down on your serve. You're less open. It's more on edge. So that's really good. Good improvement. That's probably over a couple weeks since we last filmed you. Anyway, so those are a couple things on the serve. Just staying sideways. Look at that right hip. His right leg is staggered. If anything, we should still see his left knee turning in from here. Okay, he wants to be straight on a skateboard. Right now, his right foot would be off the skateboard almost. Okay, and then we can just see there's the pull down. Instead, that left side needs to stay tall, and then the right side climbs even taller. Okay, let's go check out chip and charge. Let's watch this one play out. Okay, so Dillon ends up missing this ball wide. Let's go into Y. Okay. So look at do we see the path of the racket? It's down. The racket already at the beginning is already pointed extremely across court. So the chances that he misses this wide is high. Okay. That could be a function of the grip. He really should be in composite maybe more. That would help you square it up and not feel the need to cut so much. But think of the percentage lines. If he plays this in the percentage line, okay, he gives, let's say Belnap, let's see if Belnap's split. No split. Let's say, and really, let's go back a point. So he hits the serve. See how Sam's in the middle? Sam should be a little further to the right. We're talking a step or so further to the right. If Sam gets there in plenty of time and that ball's in, does it make sense how Dillon actually has more space to cover because he pulled him out wide off of that chip and charge? Okay. Strong players are going to hit the pass. They love hitting angled passing shots. So if you're going to play the chip and charge, you got to drive it more through the middle. That's going to take away their angle to pass you on. Okay. Let's see. Good serve into the backhand. Okay, so just a couple things we're going to see. We're going to look for split steps. Dillon has no split step off of the return. The return itself, we got to ask ourselves, what are we trying to do? That's a minus return, inviting Sam. Sam does perfect execution. You get a minus return, punish that return. Comes to net, takes a ton of time away from Dillon. Okay, so split step, and then also just you have to ask yourself, what is that trying to accomplish with that return? Because it's just going to invite somebody in to take control. All right, let's go look at Dillon's serve. Sorry, let's start it again. Okay. So we're going to see some similar things. Look at the lower half. The knees aren't turned in. He's got more of a back bend than a coil. Okay, so there's a difference between just bending your back. It gives a false sense of maybe coiling versus really coiling. The right arm could be on the left side of his body. That's how much we'd want him to coil. Okay, just more coil. Let's see it come out. He's got pretty good palm down serve. The racket makes that figure eight. That looks pretty good. But we could just get a lot more turned and then get a little taller as we go. Okay, so we get the return. Let's look at his short ball range. Okay. He's going to go there. Now this is challenging. Why is this a challenging shot for Sam? He's got to change the direction of the ball to beat him up the line. So that's a positive of this. Now some people's forehands, that's going to be an easy shot. You just got to figure out what the level of player you are at. But that is good in terms of making Sam have to hit it. But we could really argue, right? Sam has a huge window where he doesn't have to be perfect here. So he might be better for Dillon to take this particular ball up the line into the backhand, up the percentage line. And because look how far Dillon would have to go to get in front of that ball. Does that make sense? Yep. Remember, if we're going to talk about when to go cross court, we would want balls that are more in this range. So maybe if Dillon was here, we'd love for him to go cross court because he can get over to that ball a little quicker. But when you're so far off the line, you leave such a wide margin of court open. But still, you can see it wasn't, he hit the ball well. It wasn't an easy pass because it was coming in on a diagonal. All right, next one. Okay. All right. So I like this point just because we always want to have this mentality that winning is confusing, meaning Dillon did everything right here and he still lost the point, and you have to accept that in tennis. I'd rather be Dillon right here getting to net. He's got to follow his ball just a little bit more, right? Get more in front of that. But yeah, he gets the high volley. It's just out of reach where he can't do as much as he'd want. And then Sam makes a great play to get the ball back in. Okay, I'd rather be in Dillon's position, and I know I'm going to win that 7 out of 10 times. Okay, that's an A+ in tennis. We talked about that yesterday. If you can win 2 out of 3 points doing a certain play, that's an A+ in tennis. An F in school, but an A+ in tennis. Okay, let's go. That's a Steve Smith, an A+ in tennis, but like a failing grade in school. Steve Smith quote. Most of these are Steve Smith quotes, so you know. All right, let's look at another point. We got 3 more to go. Okay. Yeah, we're going to look at Dillon's forehands a little bit because this is what he's working on. So we're going to look at forehand number 1. Okay, so he's trying to find his way out of that. And this is the issue with being wristy, is your racket will collapse really fast at times. Like when I get a return into the body, I've got to be able to just slide out, block. But you can see quickly Dillon's racket is rolling over the ball. So there's just not quite enough wrist stability in there to have a great return. Okay, let's go to the next one. This one he hits better. Now we can see a little bit better length of contact. Look at that. We got an extra clip of your racket actually tracking out to the target. It was by far the best forehand you hit in this rally right here. Does damage. Okay, so here's the deal. So we got to figure out, you hit this. Yeah, I'm okay with you staying loose. Just recover, because where is his recovery point when he goes up the line, right? We got to make sure we understand. Sam's going to hit the ball. Dillon's recovery point is actually on this side, slightly to the opposite side, okay? So we go slightly to the opposite side. But what takes precedence over getting to the right spot, recovery spot? Split stepping. So let's see if we could just recover faster. I think it could be faster getting over there. Really splitting. And then this might be a decision where you would have been much better off hitting the backhand because you didn't have to work so much with your feet. Running around your forehand is only good if it doesn't make you lose time. And here that ball was deep enough, Dillon lost time and ends up hitting a ball okay, way wider than he wanted to. So you got to be very judicious about how you run around the backhand to hit forehands. They've got to be balls that are slow enough that you're not going to lose time, because it takes more time to get around the ball that way. Does that make sense? Okay, so even though everybody running around your forehand is all the rage, make sure you guys understand how to use it smartly or intelligently. Okay, let's go 18-39. 2 points left. Okay, good depth off the forehand. Okay, so let's go back. So as soon as Belnap, just recognize, Sam, you're going to make yourself run more by going up the line here, because now your recovery point's on the other side of that line, but the split step takes precedence, and we don't really get a true split step. Okay, minus on your slice. This is what Dillon's working on. This is just the wristy short, no contact zone. Okay, so we just want to make sure we got that. I think you hit a backhand in here, and I wanted to go through your backhand, Dillon, so you could see it. So Dillon, I want you to see, this is the big thing on Dillon. Dillon's got an open racket face, especially on high balls where he loses time. You see a racket angle? Yes. Okay. So this is why we work so much on understanding the efficiency. If my unit turn is good, his racket would be on edge right here, and he misses a lot of high backhands long, right? The higher they get, the more you're likely to have trouble not hitting them long. And that's why. So that's why we just want to understand, why are we going through all this stuff? Because if you can get this stuff fixed right up, right away on the unit turn, it doesn't show up in the strokes. Okay? But then you want to think, Sam, you're inviting him in. Okay? We got to get through. Like, to me, that's a two-handed backhand right there. Drive it through the middle of the court. Reset the point. Don't give him anything short to come in on. Okay? And I think if I went through this whole point, we're once again, let's see if we see a split. There's not really, there's a little split here, but like really gather your energy when you're split on the return of serve. No split step. No split step. No split step. No split step. Okay? Like, I just telling you guys will go up a full, who knows, it could be a full UTR point if you're willing to start to move your feet properly. Like, but it has to be ingrained, okay? It's just so key to you guys starting to move correctly. I think we've got one last video. Let's watch Nadal. Okay, I got it titled Nadal's lifting pattern, but watch. I'm sure we're going to see his footwork moving. Split. 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 Okay? It just doesn't occur at any sort of serious tennis level where this isn't going on at every single point. You're just never going to find a point where he didn't do that on every point. Okay? We don't even need to watch, great footwork. You just need to look at the feet. You know how somebody moves, okay? All right, let's get match play going. And